Well, this week, Dr. Mandy Cohen took the helm as the new director of the Center for Disease Control. She takes over the embattled federal agency, still under fire for its handling, or mishandling, I should say, of the COVID pandemic. It politicized its response to masking, vaccines, and school closures, and we now know all the facts. It was a disaster. Well, the bureaucracy that Cohen inherits demonstrated just how far it's fallen last week when it published guidance for men. Now, stick with me. I know some of this can be difficult. For men who claim to be transgender to chest feed babies. Now, instead of focusing on a mother's nourishment for her baby, this chest feeding advice includes pointers for men who take drugs to produce hormones that mimic a pregnant woman's body, even while ignoring the potential harm such lab-produced hormones could have on a baby. Again, putting their proclivities above the care of children. Joining me now to discuss this and more is Kansas Senator Roger Marshall. He serves on 4 Senate committees, including the Committee on Health, Education, and Labor. He is a doctor who practiced medicine for more than 25 years and delivered more than 5,000 babies. So he might have an opinion on this. Senator Marshall, welcome back to Washington Watch. Always great to see you.
Yeah, Tony, isn't this amazing? I spent a career delivering a baby every day and always encouraged breastfeeding. It's so important to the nourishment of that baby. And certainly you and I knew that we would be up here fighting to protect the baby before it was born. But did you ever think we'd have to protect the health of the baby after it's born? That this White House has put their woke agenda ahead of what's healthy for babies. In this case, I'm just beside myself. The CDC is in direct contraindication from what the FDA has said to do. The CDC is now recommending a drug that the FDA took off the market in 2004 because it wasn't safe. And it wasn't just kind of unsafe, it caused a heart arrhythmia. And this drug, if these men take it and they chest feed their baby and they give this trans fluid to their babies, that drug's going to go into that baby's system with the potential for causing arrhythmias as well. I can't believe it.
So we don't even really know the long-term consequences of these games that we're playing, but yet our federal government, this is from their platform, in the CDC's website section, Health Equity Considerations, found under its infant and young child feeding toolkit, the center declares that transgender and non-binary gendered individuals may give birth and breastfeed or feed at the chest. This denies reality, but in doing so, as you've pointed out, this puts children at risk, and we don't know the long-term consequences here.
Yeah, Tony, when will the woke left stop putting their woke agenda ahead of what's best for these babies? I think that's the bottom line here. Again, they are using a medicine that the FDA has taken off the market. They're combining it with hormones, estrogen and progesterone, as well as a diuretic, giving it to these men who are then chest feeding the baby with this fluid that's coming from their chest. We'll just leave it at that. We know it's not, there's no way it's got the same nourishment. It doesn't have colostrum in it. Colostrum is what God gives women in their first couple of days of breastfeeding. It's full of antibodies and antioxidants to protect the health of the baby. I think there's no way that there's enough caloric value in this trans fluid either to nourish the baby. Again, they are in direct contraindication with the FDA. The CDC's way outside of their lane. They've put their woke agenda ahead of the health of newborn babies.
So just to be clear, Dr. Marshall, are these drugs being used as they were intended to use? Is this the proper use of all of these drugs, these hormones and such?
Yeah, well, of course not. First of all, the dromeperidone is a drug that was intended for anti-nausea, but it was taken off the market in 2004. So they're really practicing medicine with a drug. I really think this is illegal what the CDC is doing by recommending and marketing this drug. The other drugs that they're giving are birth control pills or estrogen and progesterone, which are used in menopausal management typically. And the problem is, if you could imagine giving large doses of estrogen or progesterone to whether it's a boy baby or a girl baby, to your point earlier, we don't know what it's going to do. Is it going to help? Is it going to make the skull close more quickly? Is it going to basically induce some type of a puberty? Are we going to see gynecomastia? And there's other things I feel like are PG-13 I shouldn't talk about. So they're being used way outside of their lanes. I guarantee you, Tony, if a woman came to me and said she's breastfeeding and could she take any one of these drugs, I would tell her, you have a choice, ma'am. You can either take the drug or you can do breastfeed, but you cannot do both. I don't think it's safe for your baby. And we're always really concerned is when you have this menagerie of drugs, a concoction mixing together. We have no idea the impact on that baby. But we do know it's passing through the breast milk. We do know there's lots of side effects. This is horrible medicine. I just don't know how they won't get sued. I've just never seen the CDC stoop so low.
Can this agency be saved?
Oh boy. I think it's like many agencies here at the White House. The top levels, I think we need to clean house and start over in so many of them. I think there's always lots of good people, good, meaningful people. But the political appointees are the ones that got to go. And that starts with the change at the top of the White House. And that's what elections are for.
Elections have consequences. Dr. Roger Marshall, always great to have you on the program. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks for your fight as well. We appreciate you having our back.
All right.